Welcome to the Medcom Care Management Wellness webinar. This webinar is titled the Great 8 Series, 4 to Make and 4 to Take. This is the lunch edition. My name is Caitlin Keating. I'm a registered dietitian and health coach with Medcom Care Management.
This is a brief outline of what I'll be discussing today in the presentation. First, I'll talk about the importance of breaking for lunch. I'll then go through components of a healthy lunch and 4 recipes to make, as well as 4 recipes that you can grab on the go. I'll then talk through some fast food tips, should that be the option, and then also discuss some kid-friendly recipes for when you're packing the kids' lunches. One of the focus areas of this webinar is to encourage the importance of actually taking a break for lunch. Statistics show that 70% of Americans eat at their desk for lunch several times a week. Research shows that this encourages mindless eating, which may then lead to overeating. Overeating oftentimes can lead to weight gain, and then individuals who eat at their desk as opposed to taking that break for lunch are also often experiencing increased stress because of that lack of break. So it's important to note that taking a break at lunch as opposed to eating at your desk and using that time to de-stress, decompress, and just walk away for a little bit will actually, in the end, be more beneficial. So while we're talking about the importance of taking a break for lunch, let's also go through some ideas behind a healthy lunch. For some of you, when we discuss a healthy lunch, questions that may arise include the fact of what should you even pack? Or if you don't even have time to pack, how do you find the time to do that? Another obstacle is oftentimes that vending machines don't necessarily have healthy options. And then a lot of times the big question arises, will a healthy lunch even help? Will incorporating a lunch, taking a break, will that even impact my health significantly? So let's go through how it can impact your health significantly, and let's look at the comparison of bringing a lunch as opposed to actually eating out for lunch. So research shows that eating out for lunch, whether it's at a fast food establishment, whether it's at a restaurant or anything like that, can actually add about 150 calories extra to your daily intake when compared to someone who brings their lunch from home. So just to kind of give you an idea of the numbers, that equates to about 800 extra calories a week, which then in turn leads to around 3,200 extra calories a month. And again, to give you an understanding, 3,500 extra calories actually equals 1 pound of weight gain. So while we're talking about the significance of incorporating a healthy lunch, one of the things we really want to highlight is also the importance of actually bringing your lunch from home as opposed to eating out. While eating out may be the only option some days, it's really important to make sure to incorporate bringing that lunch more often than not. Not to mention when we discuss the budget and how much it helps your wallet. So when we talk about a healthy lunch, whether it is eating out or bringing your lunch, there are a few components that you want to be sure to incorporate each time. You want to make sure that you do include a lean protein at each lunch. Those carbohydrate-heavy meals oftentimes leave you hungry immediately after you're eating them. So incorporating a lean protein will not only give you the benefits of the protein, but will also help keep you fuller longer. Some lean protein options to include can be low-sodium turkey or chicken, maybe some type of fish, some nuts or even some type of nut butters, and then even some sides or dips may be included as a lean protein option as well. So while I do talk about the lean protein and not making your diet or your lunch strictly carbohydrate heavy, we do still want to include some types of carbohydrates. The key ones that we're looking for is incorporating those complex carbohydrates. This includes those whole grains. So this can be a whole grain bread, a whole grain pasta or brown rice, or even low-fat popcorn would be a suggestion. So as we talk about whole grains, let's really hone in on one of the key things that we eat whenever we consume lunch, and that's usually your sliced breads. Now, picking a sliced bread that is the appropriate choice from a grocery store can often be a tricky task. Let's go through and give you a quick quiz of which option you think would be the best bet and why. So looking at option A, B, and C, which one do you think is the best option? If you chose option A, you would be correct. One of the things that we really want to look at when we're looking and choosing those sliced breads is not only the nutrition facts label, but we also want to be sure to focus in on the ingredients panel that's listed below. So as you can see here, I provided 3 samples of 3 different types of breads with their nutrition facts label as well as the ingredients panel. One of the key things that you really want to stay away from when you're looking at an ingredients panel is anything that states enriched or refined. So immediately option B is knocked out of the running. So now we see option A and option C. Both states whole wheat or whole grain, and both are those viable options for that whole grain choice. Now the next thing you want to look at, especially if you're looking at limiting calories, is the serving size and the nutrition facts. So when we look, we see that the serving size is the same. It's 1 slice or 1 serving. And you can do that by comparing the grams if it doesn't necessarily say slices as well. And now we also notice the difference in calories. When you make a sandwich with option A, you're actually getting less calories than compared to that 1 slice for option C. So this is why option A would be your best bet when choosing the bread. So again, when you're looking for a sliced bread to make sandwiches or anything like that, you want to be sure to look at those nutrition facts labels, but also take a deep, hard look at the ingredients panel as well. Another component of a healthy lunch would be incorporating fruits and vegetables each time. So to look at the hierarchy of your options, fresh fruit is always going to be your best bet. The next option would then be the frozen. However, if in the end canned is your only option, you still can incorporate that and get some vitamins and minerals from that. But be sure that if you're looking for canned for fruit, look for the fruit that's packed in 100% juice or the light syrup. And then for vegetables, if you're looking at canned, be sure to look for the low sodium option, as typically vegetables that are packed in the can often have a high salt content. You also want to include some type of low-fat dairy in your lunch. This can be the 1% or skim milk, which also has the same calcium and vitamin D as whole milk. It's just that whole milk has more fat. So both of those are good options. Low-fat yogurt and low-fat cheese is another option too whenever you're looking to incorporate that dairy. And all of these low-fat dairy items will also have some lean protein as well. So now let's go through some 4 recipes that you can make. One of the things that we look at or we think about immediately when we talk about making our lunch is making a sandwich. It's kind of the go-to. So here are some quick tips for making a sandwich to make it a better option. One of the things is you want to be sure to pack on the veggies or even some fruit on your sandwich. You do again want to do the whole grain carbohydrates as well as the lean protein and maybe even some dairy and some cheese, but you want to make sure that you do those minimal and pack on those fruits and vegetables. This will increase your intake for the day, helping you to meet the daily recommended serving sizes. It will also add some fiber, which increases the fullness and the satiety that you will experience. And it will also add some color and some visual appeal to your lunch. Be wary though that when you do go to a restaurant of those veggie sandwiches. While some restaurant veggie sandwiches may be a good option, again, we do want to try to incorporate some type of lean protein. And then a lot of the veggie sandwiches will pack on the veggies, but they'll also pack on heavy spreads and a lot of cheese. So again, when we mention spreads, we do want to choose a lighter spread. Some of these can include low-fat mayonnaise, avocado is a great creamy spread, as well as hummus. Again, you want to include that whole wheat bread, and then you want to make some of the smaller sandwiches. So choose the bread in the store that's the smaller slices as opposed to those really large slices. You don't necessarily need all that bread. And then if you're eating a sandwich in a restaurant, choose half of the sandwich as the portion sizes are usually larger than needed. So we talk about sandwiches, and let's go through some different types of things that we can do, just to kind of give you an alternative to that regular peanut butter and jelly. Here's a great sandwich that you can make and includes the Nature's Own whole wheat bread, some lean protein in the chicken, as well as some light cheese. And then it also packs on the vegetables with the tomato and spinach. You can see the protein is about 32 grams, which is a really good source. And then you're also getting a number of different vitamins and minerals, including calcium, some vitamin C, some vitamin A, as well as some good healthy fats. An alternative to a regular sandwich would be a wrap. So again, choosing the option of packing on the protein, packing on the vegetables, and also choosing some type of whole grain wrap. This in turn, this particular one provides about 17 grams of protein with only 350 calories. Another option for a healthy lunch would be your salad. Be careful that when you're ordering a salad in a restaurant, not all salads are great healthy choices. Be sure that when you're ordering a salad, or even when you're packing a salad, that the toppings that you choose are light and don't contain as many calories. So for example, you do want to incorporate some nuts, but you do have to be mindful of the portions. That will also give you some protein along with the chicken breast in this particular salad. And then again, incorporating the spinach or some type of romaine lettuce leaf, maybe some fruit and the strawberries, and then choosing a light dressing and being mindful of the portions with the dressing. Another option would be to order your salad with the dressing on the side so that you have control of how much dressing is coming in. So the last recipe that I've provided is a pasta salad, and this one is in quotes because the pasta isn't typically your regular pasta, but rather the quinoa. One of the great things about quinoa is that it provides some protein as opposed to just a bunch of carbs through a type of pasta. So again, we incorporate the quinoa, we do some pine nuts, a number of different types of vegetables, and then some seasonings and garnishes through the parsley. And then the olive oil kind of ties it all together. So again, when you're looking at your serving, be careful of the serving size, and you're still getting some great protein and some great vitamins in this as well. So while those are some recipes that you can make, they're pretty quick, they're pretty easy, you can kind of gather them as you go, and it doesn't take too long. Realistically, you still may need some options that you can kind of take and grab and go if your morning is just too stressed or if you're not able to pack ahead of time. So let's go through some of those take options. Be aware that any type of frozen dinner that you buy in the store is going to be high in sodium. Sodium is a preservative, and so that's how they're able to package it. So while this Kashi one is an option, just notice that it's not a great option for everyday consumption. However, again, they do have the Kashi line, and typically they have a lot of good options, but be sure to look at the nutrition facts labels. This one in particular does have high protein. It's lower in calories, and then it also has some really great fiber from the brown rice or the whole grain rice. So that keeps you full. For some of you, visiting Subway may be another option, and getting one of their 6-inch subs would be a suggestion. Again, one of the things that I really focus in on is incorporating those vegetables and loading down the sandwich with vegetables so that you can feel fuller, you can feel like you're getting a good significant amount of food, and you're still getting all those vegetables in there. Another way to kind of cut the calories is cut any types of sauces. Just maybe put some avocado. That will add some healthy fats, but adding a little bit of that as opposed to any other type of sauce will cut some calories. And then also taking away the cheese and just leaving the vegetables and that lean protein. Another suggestion is a frozen meal, but again, it's just something to kind of change it up a little bit. The Amy's line offers a number of different organic ingredients and then does provide some lower calorie options. This particular pocket sandwich is a good source of protein and it is low in cholesterol. But again, please be mindful that it does contain a good bit of sodium, so you want to make sure to compensate for that throughout your food choices within your day. So the next suggestion, if picking a frozen meal is just not an option or you're really craving that burger, you can still incorporate a burger every now and then as part of a healthy diet. However, my suggestion would be definitely to pick a kid's meal as opposed to a regular size portion. Again, you're getting those smaller portions, which then leads to the lower calories, and you have the options of picking a dairy for drink, a low-fat dairy option for your drink, and then as well as pairing it with fruit as opposed to French fries. So again, you are looking at a little bit lower calories, and a good bit of protein. And while you do see some sugar, please be mindful that in here, the sugar is actually coming from the natural sugars, which are in the milk and the fruit. So like I mentioned, sometimes fast food is your only option, and there are some ways to pick helpful tips and to incorporate that. These suggestions would be, again, to order some type of kids meal. I also mentioned if you order a salad, order the dressing on the side. Avoiding any of the soda or the juice and doing the low-fat dairy or even the water. Skipping any type of cheese, and that'll then cut out the calories as well as some of the fat, because typically the cheese that you're going to get is not the low-fat option in fast food. Avoid those combos. Just because you can increase the size for a couple pennies extra doesn't mean you should. And be mindful that it may impact your health. Also, avoiding those sauces or extra things that they layer on will help to make those choices a little bit healthier. And then ordering that single patty burger along in the kids' meal and opting for a healthy side item as opposed to getting those French fries. All of these tips will help you to make healthier and wiser decisions when you do have to visit those fast food restaurants. So some of the last things I wanted to mention were some tips for making some kid-friendly lunches. For some of you, you may struggle in the fact that your kids don't want to eat healthy options for lunch, or they end up eating the vending machine. So here are some suggestions for packing their lunches to make it a little bit more creative and a little bit more appealing for them. Again, to be creative, you can include some cupcake liners, maybe some colorful utensils, maybe some cookie cutter shapes in the sandwiches, anything like that. Making it colorful, adding that variety with the fruits and the vegetables and the different shades, and even incorporating maybe some small treats or cutting the things into bite-sized pieces. These are all things that'll make it a little bit more fun for kids, and if they see that their food is a little bit more visually appealing, it makes it a little bit more fun, they're more inclined to eat those healthier options that you pack for them. Here are some pictures of some really colorful and great boxes that you can do. Again, this doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can just buy these different things and then just pack them together. Bring a lot of color, bring a lot of variety, and bring a lot of fun for the kids.
So that concludes the webinar for today. Please be sure to log in online in your online wellness center and take the survey that's associated with this seminar using the password that you see here.